madness?
You know, I'm okay. I'm the kind of gal that likes to be like out in a canoe or on a campsite or deep in the woods. So in that way, my recreational life is very solitary. So it's kind of not that bad.
Okay, well that's a good thing. But
Yeah.
mentally, you're doing okay with everything?
Yes, I think
Yeah,
so.
good.
I think much like many other folk, it is a forced uh, reckoning with perspective.
Well, and that is a yeah, that's been the thing. I guess, for me and from the people and my friends that I talk to, it's like these waves of feeling at peace and at calm and trying to rationalize it and come to terms with it. And then
Mhm.
it's this wave of sheer terror and anxiety and terrified and feeling directionless and it's literally you flip through these different kind of scenarios. So
Absolutely.
but I think that the hardest part is maintaining um, a semblance of positivity, and knowing that you just gotta kind of put one foot in front of the next and take it day by day.
Absolutely. And I think I do want to have to wonder, how has quarantine been for you? Like, how have you been making sure that you are constantly seeing a silver lining if you've been able to do so?
Well, it's a good question, and I have, much like every single person has their own unique and their own version of this, and the different levels of shittiness, and for me, um, I've been very fortunate in the sense, and the only silver lining for me personally is that my wife and I had our first child, and we have a beautiful little girl, and so she's going to be one next month, which is insane. But so I've got to spend every day with my beautiful daughter and raise her and watch her grow and learn. So as because we're supposed to be on tour since like kind
Wow.
of May off and on till so that's been the silver lining is I get to spend time with my daughter every day. So that's been, it's not easy raising a kid alone in isolation
Yeah.
without your help of your friends or your family. Like my mom hasn't seen her in months, so there's those types of things. But yeah, I think everything reverts back to back to basics and the small things in life, right? And so being with her and yeah, that's been the greatest thing about all this.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy how it forced everybody to go back inside and to really kind of strip down and think about what our essentials are. And I'm not just talking about, the essentials that we need for everyday life, like food and things. I mean, truly the
Mm-hmm.
essentials for our mental health. And, did your daughter have the opportunity to meet her grandparents before everything happened then,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, okay.
yeah,
So that is a
yeah. But
long
I
time
mean,
since.
yeah, it's been a long time, but I think that's what you touched upon there. I think like the mental aspect of this is tough, and you need to find things that kind of I'm the type of person that I'm always chasing my tail. You know what I mean? Like I'm always running around. I'm always trying to get it all done and figure it all out, and blah, blah. And this has forced me to stop. And I
Mhm.
haven't like this is the longest I've been home in like 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's given me pause and it's made me really appreciate um, um, how fortunate we are as a band and also as a person and the, the 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 basics of like calling my mom and calling my brother and calling my friend and just and talking and just hearing them or seeing them like these Zoom things which I never knew about till this started. It's like, but so I think we're also really lucky and to live, or to have these technologies nowadays that you can still kind of feel connected to people as opposed to um, not like 30 years ago, 40 years ago. It's just a telephone type thing. But anyway, so yeah, it's taking it day by day and appreciating the small things.
Absolutely. And let's speak further about the idea of connectivity, especially
Sure.
through music, obviously, and your song specifically. I beg to differ. Now, it's kind of almost like a beautiful coincidence that this song came out when it did. Like, this dropped at the beginning of April, sort of before any of this really, really shut down. And I feel like this was a song that so many people were really, really grateful to have access to during this time. Has that sort of been the overwhelming reaction of, oh my God, thank God this was available to me? And also, are you a little bit psychic?
No. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, and thank you. Yeah, you kind of nailed it there because I mean, Ian, the guitar player, uh, songwriter, aficionado, genius,
Extraordinaire.
amazing man, wonderful human. Um, I remember him playing that song for me and my jaw dropping, and he had a lot of the scratch lyrics kind of in place, and then including the I Beg to Differ. And then him and I worked on the lyrics and making, it was about how we were feeling kind of over processed and terrified. And we know a lot of friends who are suffering with mental illness, and to let people know that they're not alone. And that if you hold on, that another day, don't give up, was the moral. And so when we wrote that song, we were thinking of people that we know and we had in mind. And we also wanted to include like the distress lines and the suicide prevention, and it's something that we started out. There's a song we had called "Nothing to Lose" back off our first record, and that video was a very powerful video as well. And at the end of it, we had the kids' help phone come up, and this is back in the early 2000s. And still to this day, we have people come up to us and say that song saved them, and that they called that hotline and they needed that, and they're still here today because of that. And when you feel that, and when you feel the weight of that, and that to me is the most beautiful thing that you can ever ask for within song, within music, is that connection. And you cannot like bands or whatever, but no matter whatever, whatever, if we may, someone might not say something so kind or whatever. When I think of those people that have come up to me, nothing anybody can say can ever hurt, because of that or take away from the band, because that is something that is the most beautiful thing in the entire world, that connection. So anyway, to go back to this song, when we put it out, we had no idea what was coming down the road, but now when I listen to the song, like the weight of it and the intention of it is still exactly the same. It just carries more weight. It has a bigger perspective, so yeah, it's been crazy to see, but I mean, we're so thankful and so happy that people are getting something out of the song, because that was what we wanted to do.
Yeah, and it feels kind of symbiotic in that way, because I was looking through the YouTube comments from where you premiered the video, and it is overwhelmingly like, thank you, thank you, thank you, over and over again. Thank you so much for putting this out. I can't believe
it's
this
so
song
hard
came
to
out when
read
it did.
sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's overwhelming. I try not to, I can't always do it because of where I'm at. But yeah, I mean, when I do read it, I get really emotional about it, because it's, yeah, it seems like people are gravitating towards it. And that's, yeah, that makes us all in the band, not just, it makes everybody feel good. So we're happy that people are hearing it and needing it. Not happy that they're needing it, happy that they're getting what they need out of it.
It's available, it's so accessible.
That's it.
The fact that it's on YouTube, and it's just something that anyone can have access to, which is nice. And even speaking of like a more global reach, when you're talking about providing a phone number, I mean, you guys listed literally global resources for people to use anywhere in the world if they happen to be, have feelings of desperation, because you guys do have such a global reach now. We kind of hold you guys close here in Canada and kind of, decide that Billy Talent is ours, but that's just not true. You guys, and we kind of do that as Canadians. We kind of do that to Canadian bands, we're like,
yeah,
it's
nice.
ours.
I like it. Yeah,
We have a history of
like
doing
that.
that, it's
Yeah,
probably
we
because
do.
we're
Absolutely.
downy,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
it is. Yeah, but it's yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I appreciate that. And yeah, and that's something too, it is a big world and it's a big planet, and we've been really fortunate enough to have seen a lot of it and go play in a lot of places. And Yeah, and people here in Canada, they hurt the same way in Russia, and the same way in the UK, and the same way in South Africa. Like we all, help is help, and mental illness is mental illness, and if you need help, you should reach out. And so yeah, we try to make it not just based in our backyard, but kind of it's a global issue.
Absolutely. And so then I have to ask you, because it does seem like you have like a wonderful network around you. You have a wife and a child and family and a band and friends that you can rely on. But what kind of music do you turn to when you're perhaps in a bad headspace? What music gives you comfort?
I will say that the band, I haven't been moved by a band. There's a band called IDELS. I don't know if you know or
I
familiar with
do know
IDELS.
IDELS, and they're very
Yeah.
good.
And Johnny G, bass player, John from the band, he ended up going out on tour with the Dirty Nil. There was an injury, and Johnny filled in, and so he went out and toured with them. And the Nil introduced John to IDELS, and then John came back to me and was like, "You got to listen to this." And I've more or less been completely enamored and with them ever since. And so yeah, I think right now they are filling my quota and need for everything in music right now. I find it pure. I find it honest. I find it violent in a good way. It's alive, and I just think the lyrics and the music, I just can't speak highly enough about it. So yeah, that's been something that I've been listening to a lot.
Yeah, IDELS are a great band, man.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, they're so
Yeah, well, they
good.
also, it's nice because they promote the same things that our band hold true. Like they promote, tolerance and acceptance and love, and they're against kind of toxic masculinity, and they're just trying. They're trying, and they're promoting good messages. And I think that now more than ever, that's important.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about in the history of punk rock where it was always supposed to be an inclusive place, always. That's sort of the beauty
Yeah,
that draws a lot of
absolutely.
people toward punk rock. But there still was always an era of toxic masculinity that had been there, really since the first wave and kind of never went away. That feels like now more than ever is really being broken down in the scene. And I mean on a global scale, where it feels like this current generation of punk rock just is not standing for that anymore.
Yeah, I think so, which is great. Like this is exactly the power of music. And that's also, you know, and just community and learning and evolving and growing. And that's something that I still find so beautiful about music is I can hear a band that maybe I wasn't familiar with, and they give me, like I said, they fill me with what I need, and it's nice to know that that's still happening and can still happen, that you can be introduced to something new and connect with it in such a pure and visceral kind of way. Yeah, I felt that way with the Dirty Nail too. Like when I first heard
Yeah.
the Dirty Nail, like I loved them, and we scooped them up and brought them across the world with us and toured with them, and
Yeah.
became really good friends with them as well. And but it's nice to know that there's good people out there promoting good things, and that the power of just rock and roll music too. Like the power of song is still such an important. Um, there's nothing else like it in the world,
Yeah.
and it's so needed now more than ever. And I don't know about you, but I've been finding myself listening to a lot more music than I have been. Maybe because I have the time, but yeah, like music is always on in my house, whether it's Nina Simone or Billie Holiday or it's Idols and or Jane's Addiction. Like there's something playing all the time in my place. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can always go back to Jane's Addiction.
You can always get back to Jane's Addiction.
Fail safe.
Nothing shocking. One of the top 5 greatest records of all time.
An amazing record.
An
Completely
amazing
agree.
record. Before all the grunge stuff, 91. So yeah.
Speaking of records, so this is going to be Billy Talent's 6th record, man. What can we expect? Can you tell me
Oh my
something? Give me the
God.
details.
Yeah. Actually, sorry, Ritual came out in 91. Nothing shocking. It was 88 or 89. So just to correct my Jane's Addiction knowledge.
That's good, because there's going to be Jane's Addiction's fans coming after us.
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell you, I mean, it's hard to wrap my head around. But to answer your question, then to work my way back, this is probably the best collective record that we have done, I would say since maybe Billy Talent 2. Not to take away from the other records because they're fantastic, but this record has something special about it that I haven't felt since that record.
Wow.
And the interesting thing is the way we were releasing it is we wanted to just do something different, in the sense that we didn't want to just go about this in the same way that we had before. And what I mean by that is, like, usually like release a single, release the video, and then the record comes out. Like, we didn't want to do that. We wanted to do, when the songs were done, we're going to put them out, and we're going to keep working on the other songs. And when those ones are done, we're going to put them out. And it became this kind of start and stop. And it was challenging because we've never done it before, but it was also giving us this energy and breathing life into the next song, you know? So we were going to do, and I think we still are, like, we released Forgiveness 1 and 2, and then Reckless, and now Beg to Differ, and I think we're going to put out another one, and then release the whole record in the fall. But like, Ian, literally, as I check the clock, is tracking guitars right now. You know, he has 2 more songs to finish. I have 4 or 5 left to go, and then the record's done. So yeah, we're unbelievably excited to finally share it. And as all of the oddity and craziness that has surrounded this time, that has been one of the good things that we've been able to hopefully finish this sooner than we expected. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than hopefully my enthusiasm speaks loud, because I'm very excited to share it with people.
Yeah. So, I mean, do we know a release date, or is it we're just going to keep seeing songs dropping?
No idea. Yeah, I think I don't think we're going to keep doing that. I think we might put one more out, which, man, yeah, this next song, anyway, it's called The Wolf, and it's probably one of the most beautiful songs we've ever done. So yeah, but even, yeah, I think we're just going to release one more, and then the next time will be the whole record.
It'll be the record. Cool, man. Yeah. Well, hey, listen, we've been playing all of them on The Verge on Sirius XM Canada.
Thank you. So. Thanks for the support. We appreciate it. We really, honestly, truthfully do. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. And hey, Ben, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I'm sure it is very warm in your car.
So, it's actually quite nice. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Yeah, thank you. I don't have
that's good.
My place, so I get to take some quiet and cool time, which is nice. Yeah.
That's not so bad, man.
And stay positive and stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you down the road.
Cool, man. Talk soon.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Peace.